This is Gail Nettles with Beaded Jewelry Diva, and today I'm going to teach you how to make these earring findings where they're interchangeable and to show you how easy they interchange. All I need to do is slide the earring through and voila, it's attached to the finding. So again, all I do is slide it through and it's attached. Let me show you how easy it is to make this pair of ear wires that can change in and change out so very easily. Let's get started. Here are the supplies that you're going to need to make this pair of earring findings. I've got 2 pieces of wire. This happens to be red brass and 20 gauge. Pair of earring nuts. These are rubber. This is a pair of needle nose pliers, a pair of round nose pliers, and a pair of flush cutters. Okay, that is what you're going to need to make these. Now, one thing that I'm going to mention is I've cut this into roughly a 3-inch piece. I would suggest that before you do these earrings in something like sterling silver or gold filled, that you practice with the brass or the wire, or the copper first. The reason being is you're going to want to measure exactly how much or what kind of length you want, so as you don't waste any of the sterling silver or the gold filled wire. So there we go. Now you can make this in 21 gauge. I don't know that I would make it in a 22 gauge. Although you could, and if you wanted to try it, I just think that it's a little bit more sturdy to make it in 20 gauge. Now that we see the supplies, let's go ahead and get started making the ear wires. To make this set of earrings, what we're going to do is take a piece of wire. Using my round nose pliers, I'm going to create a small loop at the very end of this piece of wire. I do this by just bending it around. I like to go ahead and use my needle nose pliers and flatten out the bend a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a spiral. If you're used to this, if you've done it a lot of times, this is going to be old hat. If you don't know how to do it, this is how. I'm going to grab the loop with my needle nose, and then I'm gently going to, with my finger, I'm going to bend the wire. So you can see that I'm not using the pliers to make the bend. I'm using my finger. Now it's going to be a little difficult the first few times because there's not a whole lot to grab onto. But once you've got a little bit of spiral, it becomes a lot easier and a lot faster. So again, I'm using my finger to do this. I'm not using the pliers to make the spiral. And as for how big that you want the spiral, it's up to you. I like to have it fairly big because then I can actually wear these earrings without even worrying about a dangle to it. They look nice all on their own, but you can have it as large or as small as you want. This is about where I want mine, and this is what I call the Lollipop or Popsicle stick stage. So you can see that it's just, you know, the spiral, and there's the wire, so you can see it's like a lollipop. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that down. I'm going to do the same thing for this wire. And the reason being is it's a lot easier to match the spiral if I do it at the popsicle stick stage or lollipop stage. So again, I'm going to create a small loop at the very end of the wire, flatten it a little bit with my needle nose, Then I'm going to go ahead and create the spiral. I'm going to do it a little bit faster this time. So again, I'm using my finger to move this. You can see where my fingers and my hands on this one are actually doing the bending, and that my pliers are stationary. So a little bit more, and then we'll see how the popsicles as far as sizes go. Well, you can see one popsicle is a little bit larger than the other, so I will go ahead and take my spiral and do a little bit more to it. So now you can see maybe you can see it easier this way. They're roughly the same size. Maybe this one just needs one more. There we go. So here are my popsicles, and now we're going to go ahead and bend the wire back to go ahead and create the loop. Now to change the popsicle sticks into earrings, this is what I do. I've got one of my loops. I'm going to take my needle nose pliers. I'm going to grab it just a little bit off center. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend the wire back. So you can see now what it looks like. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my round nose pliers. I'm going to put it at the bottom of this loop, and I'm going to push the wire upwards. So you can see from the side what it looks like. You can see this loop down here, and this is where we're actually going to end up attaching the earrings. Got this loop here. This is what it looks like from the front, and now we're going to go ahead and make the post portion. To make the post portion, I'm going to grab my needle nose pliers, and I'm going to grab it a little bit below the top of the spiral. Two reasons. One, I like the spiral to hide the post where it goes into my ear, and two, as you grab it, this part is going to make it a little bit higher. So you can see I'm pushing it inwards, and now you can see that the post is just about the same height. Oops, let's see that. The post is about the same height as the top of the spiral. Let's do the second one. Okay, you've got your lollipop. You take your needle nose pliers, grab it just to the right of center, or left of center if you're left-hander. Bend it up so it looks like this. Take your round nose pliers, put it at the base, push it up, push the wire up so it looks like this, like a fish hook, I guess you could say. Then I take my needle nose just a little bit lower than the center, or the top of the spiral rather, push the wire down so it's roughly a 90-degree angle, and then you can push the spiral to meet the post wire just a little bit. You don't want it super tight because your earring is going to slide on and slide off. Now you can see that my posts are a lot longer than I'd wear through my ears. So what I do is I cut off about where I'd like my earrings to be. For me, I have kind of fat earrings or fat earlobes. So I'm going to cut mine at about here. You can make it whatever length is good for you. To see how to make it fairly accurate, I just lay them side by side, grab this, make another cut. And if I make them just a little bit longer or shorter than the other, I can go ahead and adjust that just by nipping off a little bit more. Something you want to do before you actually wear these earrings, however, is the end of it right now is a little bit rough. When you're flush cutting, even the best flush cutters are going to leave a tiny burr at the end. So what you want to do is you want to take a metal file, jewelry file, and you want to file the ends until they're very smooth, because otherwise they will cut your ear. Ask me how I know. So once you have these all smoothed out, you can take a ear nut. I like using rubber ear nuts, and just slide it in. Of course, if I could do this easily, it would be better. So you've got an earring that, and you can actually wear this just as is. You don't even have to have an earring there, and it still looks nice just as is. But again, to go ahead and pop on and pop off, let's go ahead and do it one more time. So you can see I have, if I can grab it, you can see I have the earring attached. To unattach it, I just pop it off or slip it off. Then to put it on again, I just put it through the post, slide it down, and I've got an earring. Wasn't that easy? This is Gail Nettles with Beaded Jewelry Diva, and I hope you've enjoyed this pair of earring findings that are adjustable. Go out, make some. Thanks a lot, and I will see you later. Bye.